Hello Sagittarius, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. Nice to have you back. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Please don't forget to like and share or like and subscribe. This is a general reading. Please take what works for you from the details here. It may apply to you or it could apply to somebody else that you're close to at this time. If you have strong influences in your birth chart associated with another sign, then please feel free to watch some of my other videos to get further insights. I have shuffled and laid out the cards already. I work with the 12 houses of the zodiac, so as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear at this time. So in the first house, we have Saturn return age. So the first house is everything to do with yourself, your physical appearance, your physical body, your vitality, your life force. It's also how you project yourself outward in the world. So it's your personal independence, but it's also what others see in you when they look at you. So it's your observable characteristics, your personality, and so on. It's also yourself. The first house is also your self-oriented interests. So that would be your own personal, your own personal activities and interests that you're busy with currently. So now, with this, sorry, just had to take the kitty off the table. Okay, so with this card coming into your first house, this is going to bring feelings of feelings within you, but you could also be projecting this outward as well. This is wisdom and maturity and understanding. And this is maturity and wisdom and understanding which has been gained over a period of time, because this is Saturn return. So this is something that's coming back. It's normally a 29-year cycle. So this will take time, and it's during that period that it's traveling around the chart that you are gaining wisdom and understanding. So when this card appears, what it's doing is actually reminding you of the test of time. So whatever it is that's applying for you in your first house, this is about the test of time. What it is that you've undergone recently or in the most recent past, or it could even be the past which is coming back for you now, some past issue or some past events, just to remind you that you have actually gained wisdom, that you have gained understanding, and that you now see things better at this time than you did years ago or months ago. So it's a kind of a turning of the wheel. It is a karmic influence as well, but it's really is about gaining maturity and understanding about the past. So now, if you're not feeling like that, what it's going to do is going to bring up events which are going to bring this home for you. So you're going to possibly be looking at events or things going on around you where you need to apply this maturity and understanding. The test of time, what has gone on during this period, what has lasted, what hasn't. This is a time of assessment for you to work out what has worked well, what hasn't worked well. So it's kind of a form of correction coming to you as well. So putting the past behind you, but also taking a very realistic outlook at everything. If there's correction to be done, now's the time to correct. It's also possibly about going to the next level. So you look at the past, you look at what has transpired, you see, you gain the wisdom and the understanding from that, and then you apply it to move forward. It's also about taking responsibility for your dreams and your goals and your own personal hopes and dreams, your own personal wisdom. You need to take responsibility for that with Saturn. So take responsibility for it, put it into action, and work with it. This is not generally a fun time when these issues come up. You may be feeling pressured. You may be facing age issues of some kind, depending on your age. You may just be feeling your age or looking your age, or you think you do, or you just may be feeling the weight of your years on you. And this can manifest in a health environment as well. This can be with your teeth, your bones, your skeletal structure, and your tendons and your ligaments. So things may just be, you may be feeling stiffer than you have for some time, or you just may be thinking that you're just feeling a little bit older than you were a year ago, and you're feeling the weight of your years. It could also be that you're facing age issues. In other words, what am I going to do in 20 years' time? Or you may be dealing with somebody who's close to you that's going through age issues. Perhaps they are retiring, getting older, or something like that. So these issues are going to come home for you in some way, either around you or within yourself. But it's going to hit home to you, and you're going to feel it personally. You may feel like you're running out of time as well, like why haven't I achieved more by this period? Why don't I have this in place or do that? Or why didn't I do this before, and so on. So it's a period of assessment, but it's about taking a realistic outlook at where you are, what's working for you, what isn't. And what isn't working for you, what has a shaky foundation, what is wobbly, must go. It will probably crumble anyway with Saturn, but it's about taking a very realistic stock of everything. But whatever you have worked hard on in the past and is now slowly starting to come to fruition, it will have a sort of a feeling of permanence about it. It will have momentum. So Saturn does bring in periods of bouts of hard work, or where you are really needing to apply yourself in some way, whether it's internal or external. But with this card coming in the end of December, going into January is also an important period. So possibly you're warming up for that, or you're facing issues which need to be dealt with by that time, in whatever way. But it really is altogether about gaining maturity and understanding and time. Understanding time and how it applies to you and where you are in your life. Then we have yet another Saturn card coming up, and this is coming up now in your second house. So this is following on from your first house. Your first house, as I said, is all about yourself, but this is now possibly, I think, you implementing this in your second house, because a lot of those issues are related to money, and the second house is your income. In your income house. So it's your money that you've got coming in, your income, how you're earning it, what money is coming in, could even be passive income. But this house is also to do with your self-worth, and it's also to do with your value systems. And all these things are tied up with the first house as well. So you could be having a really serious overhaul, looking at things very deeply. As I said, age issues coming up, looking at it and going, why haven't I achieved more by this time? Why don't I have this? Why didn't this work? What else can I do quickly to solve this problem? The thing is with Saturn, it's a slow moving energy. So there's no shortcuts with Saturn around. You have to methodically and realistically apply all your goals and really determine what path you're going to take and how you're going to get there. And you've just got to keep going through that. Don't give up. So I feel with this, this is all forms of ownership fall under the second house. Your value systems, what you value in yourself, what you value in others, what you value in your possessions. It's also your self-worth, and this often comes from your income or from your value systems as well. So whether this is a purely internal thing or whether it's external and you're applying it to your what you own, which can be property, land, all items actually. So with this coming in, you need to take a realistic view, take stock. This is about analysis and about streamlining. So if you're looking at income issues, what's working for you, what's not, you need to let go of what is not supporting you at this time or what's not working for you. What is not working for you, what is not supporting you at this time, you have to let it go. There may be austerity measures coming in there at some point as well for some of you, but there's pressure to really take stock. You may be cutting back or trimming, and with that trimming, you're going to create something better in the end. But you're just getting rid of superfluous or things that are just not serving you at this time, things that have run their course and need to be cut back now. It's about that. It could bring in a bit of a difficult period, but it will get better, especially if you do the trimming and you do the streamlining that is required. This can also be, with the pressure that comes with it, it can also be a make it or break it type of energy as well. So as I said, it all comes down to what is working, what is not, and what you can trim back to create something better. You could also be, with this card, you may have an older person like a mentor who's going to help you in some way. So perhaps that's with financial planning or with, this process of cutting back and actually streamlining and making things work better for you. You may have somebody around you who is like an authority figure at this time. Then in the third house, we have air element communicating. So this is all about communication, the air element. This card is really about manifestation in all its forms. So your third house is your house of communication. So it's coming into pretty much its own realm. So the house of communication, this is all forms, whether it's written, verbal, body language. This house also covers documents and contracts of all kinds. It also covers short trips, local trips that you may be making. So with this communication, this can be to people around you, anybody around you. It can also be to the greater public. Perhaps it's part of your profession. Perhaps you're wanting to reach more people. But it can also be to specific people around you, which would be siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and also neighbors. Neighbors come in on this as well. So with this card coming in, it's everything to do with your environment, your local environment, and also all forms of communication, all forms of expression, whether it's online or actual verbal, makes no difference. So with this card, it's about manifestation. So make sure that you are projecting positive thoughts, that you're thinking positive thoughts. All of that is going to make a difference, because whatever you are going to manifest, you want it to be the positive things. You want it to be the positive thoughts and the positive words which will resonate and bring to you what you require, or to set a course for yourself. It's quite a habit to do that, and you have to watch your thoughts all the time, but it really is worth it in the end, because once you get into the habit, then things flow much easier for you. So all written things are important, very, very important at this time. You may need to write down or put into words what it is you want, because that process from your mind to your hand and then onto paper or onto some form of text is a very powerful process, and it's part of the manifestation process. This card also brings in objectivity and fairness. You may need to apply that at this time in your environment or with people that you're dealing with currently. It could just be that you are needing to think like that at this time. You may receive good news coming into you, or messages of some kind, or you could give those messages out. It could also come in the form of gossip, so just be aware of that, be careful with that. And this card can also bring in advances in technology for you. So whether that's just an upgrade from your cell phone or your laptop or something, but it's a new form of technology. It can be cutting edge, but it can just be an upgrade as well. Science may come in for you as well. This card has quite a youthful outlook to it. So it could be that you may be needing to project a more youthful expression at this time to get your point across. When it comes to travel, you may fly locally, but this is more like road trips. This is not long journeys. So therefore, it could be places, like mountainous places. Perhaps it's fortuitous for you to actually get away for a short break somewhere, just to have a think and change of perspective. Then in the fourth house, we have Venus Love. So your fourth house is everything to do with your home. So it's your physical home, but it can also be to do with your atmosphere in the home, the people in your home, or just where you're living currently. It can also be about your relationship with your ethnic identity, your ancestry, your family, your roots, your foundation, what relationship you have with that, and how that's working for you currently. So with Venus Love coming in for you, in whichever part of the fourth house that you may be coming up for you, this is the love card. So it's saying, let love take care of things at this time. So you may be needing to just bring that into whatever is going on in your fourth house, or in relation to your roots and your foundation, your relationship with that, and the people around that. You need to pour the charm on, just smooth over any communications that may be going on. This card is also the card of creativity and refinement, and also beauty. So if it's to do with your actual physical home, you may be needing to bring that in, or you may be feeling the urge to do that in your home environment at this time. So you may need a makeover, or you're going to be doing renovations. You may even be moving at some point, but this seems to me more like a beautifying of your current environment. And that is also bringing romance. So yes, romance could come in through another, that's also indicated, but it could also just be you doing those things in your home. So fresh flowers, candles, incense, perfumes, just changing the colors, making your home very comfortable and pretty and attractive or beautiful in whatever way works for you. This is also about home comforts, indulging yourself a bit, yeah, you may be wanting to sort of splash out on a few luxuries, or some handcrafts or homemade things. All of that comes in. It's also about relaxation and balance in your home environment. So this could also be just with your communications with the other people in your home at this time. So just be aware that with the urge for luxury and the urge for home comforts and making yourself really comfortable in your home environment, you may want to overspend. So just be aware of that, because that can creep in with this card. It's also about social activities. So you may be having lots of dinners or parties at your place, or people coming over for sort of get-togethers. So social activities may be coming up for you. Partnership is indicated. It doesn't have to be romantic, but can just be somebody that is in your home. Perhaps you're partnering up over something, or you're getting somebody new in to share your flat or your home. But partnership is indicated in some way, shape, or form. It may come up for you. Money often comes up with this card as well. So you may be getting a windfall, or you may be have money accessible to you to make your home more comfortable, to do a makeover, or some kind of sprucing up, or just to make it more, indulgent for you. It could also be that the arts are coming in for you. So you may have people to do with the arts in your home, whether they're musicians or artists, or people that are involved in the arts in some way, film industry, or it could be you bringing those elements into your home in some way, basically beautifying it and making it something that you can relax and enjoy being in. Then in the 5th house, we have lunar eclipse change. So the 5th house is your house of the children, your children or children that you're associated with at this time. It's also the house of creativity. That's your creative projects. And it's also the house of love affairs, and it's the house of recreational activities of all kinds. So whether that's, sort of handcrafts, or just busy getting out and about with different fun activities, or it could be sports. It can also cover gambling and speculative activities, which also does include the stock market. So now with lunar eclipse change coming in, it could very well be that you are making a change in your home, and it's going to be quite sudden and abrupt, a sudden change of direction, or a sudden change of home, or a change in your home environment that could come up, and therefore you are being required to use your creative skills in some way, or it could affect your children in your home. So that may come in for you, or it is actually to do just with your own particular creative projects. Perhaps you're having a shift and a change there, but it's going to be quite a sudden change. It could also be to do with a love affair. That can go to the next level with this card. It's going to transform in some way, whatever is appropriate for you at this time. So with this card coming in, it does indicate change. It's not normally slow change. This can be quite abrupt, bit of an upheaval, change of direction. It cannot be a physical change, which is coming in for you. So somehow in any one of those 5th house areas, some sort of change, some sort of shift. It could be something that was there already. You kind of acknowledged it, but you didn't fully look at it, or it was something that you put on the back burner, or you just didn't get to it for some reason. So that's something coming up, and now it's front and center for you. Now it's bubbling over, and it requires attention straight away. So as I said, it could have been something that you were sort of half expecting, but it comes at you with such speed that it does catch you off guard a bit. Or it could just be some other sudden shift or change that is occurring. It could even be a change of sort of attitude or perception, or your outlook on certain things. That could have some kind of major shift at this time with this. Something occurs and it brings that in for you. But it's normally an upheaval or a change of some kind. It's always going to be inevitable, and it's necessary in order to move you forward. So whatever is coming in for you, it could be quick, it could be abrupt, it could be a sudden development of some kind. Cycles are involved with this because it's following the moon. Memories may be involved in this as well. So maybe it's memories of perhaps you're moving from an older home to a newer home and you're taking your memories with you, or you're just examining the past in some way, or it's to do with your children or to do with a love affair. This can also cover old habits as well, perhaps changing those in order to go forward in your fifth house. So it's a curveball of some kind. It could also be that you have a relationship, a love affair, which is now going from a love affair to something much more serious, or it's a new level of some kind, or perhaps you're moving in with them or something, some kind of upscaling, and you kind of thought it might happen, but you weren't aware that it would come at you so quick. So that's the kind of change that's coming in for you. Normally with these changes, it will wrap up within six weeks, or it could take place over a 6 month, unfold over a 6 month period once you've had that initial upheaval. Then in the sixth house, we have Pisces, I believe. So your sixth house is your house of work, your work projects, your workplace. It's also your work colleagues. And your work projects, whatever you're busy with at this time. It's also mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you work on. And it's also the house of health and diet and the house of pets, your pets. So with Pisces, I believe coming in, this is actually linked to your 10th house and very strongly in the chart this month, because you've got Pisces here, which is ruled by Neptune, and then you've got Neptune in your 10th house, which covers your house of career. So these two are linked this time around. So it looks to me like similar energies going on, and it seems to be more of a work and a career focus, but it could also be a lifestyle change of some kind. So with Pisces, I believe coming in, this is, it could also just be that you're needing to have a bit of faith and a bit of belief in yourself and your dreams at this time. It's also about accessing your imagination. You're probably going to be feeling very sensitive in this house at this time. You may be connecting with the divine in some way, because that can happen with this energy. But your dreams, will be important. Certain aspects of the arts will come in with this as well. So possibly that's a work project for you or something to do with that. So that's the arts, any form of the arts. It could also be music, even the filmmaking. Water is indicated with this card. But it's a kind of a dreamy, it has got a dreamy influence in it, but it's also about you accessing the finer qualities, the more refined qualities of this card. In some way, perhaps you're being required to do that in your work at this time. It could also just be, as I said, belief in yourself. Perhaps you're facing a lifestyle change, and having faith, you need to have sort of faith and belief in yourself as well. The other aspect of this coming in, you could be having to reiterate or to re-examine your boundaries in some way, because this card can bring in a bit of confusion, a bit of like you're not quite sure what is going on, you don't have all the facts yet, things are not clear, but you need to be clear with this card around. You need to be clear about what's going on in this house. You could have other people around you, and with all their problems and issues, it's a bit of an energy drain. Be careful that you're not doing that in your workplace. So as I said, it's making your boundaries strong. Just be careful that you don't fall in with the wrong crowd, or fall victim to victim consciousness, or become gullible in some way. So just put your boundaries in place and make sure that they are strong. It could also be that with health and diet coming up, that toxins, allergies, addictions, and drugs and medicines are indicated with this card. So somewhere along the line, those could be indicated as well. Either you're making changes, or you're having to go onto certain things, or you're cleaning up your environment. Perhaps you need to clean up your life and your diet. So that's a lifestyle change, a diet change. Perhaps you need to have a really thorough look at everything and sort things out, just to feel better. It could also be that something from the past, it's like an old idea, or some aspect of life which you wanted to implement perhaps before, you had an idea about it and it never quite came to light. Well, it might rise up during this period, but it won't be around for very long. So it will come up briefly for you to acknowledge, grab it and move with it, follow it up as far as you can, because it will subside again quite quickly. It'll just slip back into the depths of this house, and there's a lot of depth in this house, in this card. So as I said, there's two sides to this, but it does carry over into your 10th house, which has very similar influences this month. Then in the 7th house, we have Chiron healing. 7th house is your house of relationships, close personal one-on-one relationships. It's also your, so it could be a love partnership, but it can also be a business partnership. It's everything around that. Yeah, it's about, you know, the sharing your committed relationship with this other person, in whichever way. It can also be a relationship with somebody else who's neither one of those two, but it's a close personal relationship that you have with them. So with Chiron healing coming in, what it's saying is that no progress will be made until the healing is accomplished. So with this card coming in, it could be that old wounds or issues or sorrows are coming up for healing now. So what it is, they you know, it's something that's happened before. They come up, they surface again for you to look at. And the reason why they surface is because it wasn't dealt with, or it wasn't sorted out, or it wasn't acknowledged the first time around, or however many times it's been up for you to look at. So what you have to do is when these issues start coming up, when they start returning again, you have to you have to sort of shine the light on them. So bring them into the light. See the function that they've had in your life. Look at it objectively. See the function that they've had in your life. Accept it and then let it go. And it's during that process that the healing occurs, because you're accepting it. You're accepting that this has happened and that perhaps it wasn't handled as well as it should, or you buried it. But it now needs to be dealt with. It needs to be looked at and accepted, and then you can let it go. So something will come up for healing, and it requires your attention. It requires for you to actually give it the attention that it needs. Bring it into the light, so that you can break old patterns, so that you don't keep repeating old patterns and let it sink again, because it will come up. It will just keep coming up until it's dealt with. All right. So you're just prolonging the agony as long as you keep doing that. So rather, you know, face it. Bring it into the light as gently as you can. Be gentle with yourself, but look at it objectively and see what it has, the function that it's had in your life. Accept it and then let it go. This could also be bringing up health matters of all kinds, which may require attention before you and your partner or this relationship can move forward. So that can be, you know, it's a transformation of your health or your lifestyle in order to move forward. So you may be requiring to take on natural therapies or remedies, home remedies. There could be medicine involved, but there's always healing involved with this card, healing of all kinds. So look up, try different things, explore different therapies, remedies, look at all the natural ones as well, because they do fulfill a huge role, and they cover many different things with one treatment or with one medication. It's not symptomatic necessarily. It covers many levels of yourself, and that may just be what you need, because Chiron does deal with natural remedies. It's one of those, it covers all of that. It also covers medicine. So whatever it is that you need to do, don't be afraid to try different things, explore, open your mind a bit, and find the healing that you require. As I said, when it comes to a lifestyle change, it could be something quite massive, and it's going to affect your partner. All right. Spending time in nature as well is highly indicated with this card. So whether it's you going with your partner or you spending time in nature on your own, so that you can give more to your partnership, whatever's coming in for you. But it really is it is a process that you need to go through in order to move yourself forward in this relationship. Then in the 8th house, we have Aquarius, I know. So the 8th house does sort of follow on from the relationship house. It is about the deeper connection in partnerships, so whether this is a love partnership or a business partnership. This is the sharing or the merging of your emotional and your physical resources. So it's also the house of handling other people's money. So you may be doing that as a profession, or you'll be doing it on behalf of somebody else. It could also be, this house is also about big finance. So this is investments, insurances, taxes, banking and accounting, legacies, inheritances, and things like trusts, assets of all kinds. So it's bigger money than the income house. This house is also the house of beginnings and endings. So it could be that you're beginning something new with this card. You're seeing something, you're seeing a gap. Because with Aquarius, I know coming in, this is about future trends or glimpses of the future. So you may be seeing that from a business point of view or from a personal point of view. You may be seeing the way things are moving in the future, and you're taking action on that. So it's also about reasoning and detachment, analysis and gaining knowledge. So whether this is to do with your actual relationship, whether it's a personal or a business, it's about being detached from emotional outcomes. You need to be a little bit more objective to analyze what needs to be done. If you're merging your finances and you're merging your resources, how that can be done adequately. You can also expect support from your friends and alliances at this time for your ideas. They will come in and support you and to help move your ideas or what you're feeling that you want to do, or the things that you want to do. They're going to help you move it forward. This is also got an inventive ability attached to it. So you may be inventing something or inventing a solution to a problem. This card can also bring in unconventional or unusual businesses, ideas, or people. All right. So cutting edge can come in here, or they're just very different or very exotic from you. Or it could just be a very unconventional idea or a very unusual idea, which is going to be supported and it's going to take you further. So it is almost like seeing the future. You've seen something and you want to implement it. It could also be an upgrade of technology of some kind within this house for you. So however that could apply for you, it's as I said, cutting edge. Either you're meeting people like this or you're bringing it somehow into your 8th house. Science comes in there, learning new things or mastering new things. And you may just be requiring technology or electronics or something like that to take your 8th house aspects further forward. It could come in for you in that way as well. Then in the 9th house, we have fire element desire. So the 9th house is quite a broad house. It covers all things international. So whether that's international travel or you relating to business overseas or ideas or foreign cultures, foreign people, foreign belief systems, studies, whatever it is, it's all things international, all things foreign fall under this. This house also covers adventure and exploration of all kinds. So you could be an armchair traveler as well, or you could be online to other people from other places around the world, or you're wanting to plan an adventurous trip of some kind. This house can also cover further education and study, so that's university level or adult education. It's also about philosophy and religion and belief systems of all kinds. So these are weighty issues which we all deal with, or you could be studying any one of those. It's also about the law. The law comes in here in the higher courts. This house is also to do with teaching. So if you may be teaching as a professional, you're involved in that in somehow, or you want to teach. So you may be qualifying as a teacher. It's also about publishing. So this is taking your ideas to the world or to a grander forum than where you have been before. It's also about public relations and promotions of all kinds, which goes hand in hand with publishing as well. It's also your relationship to your in-laws, if that comes in for you. So with fire element desire coming in, this is about being fired up. Something is going to light the fire for you here. It's about stimulation. You're going to be stimulated in some way to take action. Courage comes in you. You're going to find the courage to undertake something, or the energy to undertake something, the drive, the passion. Whatever you do with this energy, make sure it's measured action. So not rash, running around, restless, rushing kind of an energy. This is more, this is by all means harnessing that energy and harnessing that passion and that, drive which you require, but it's pointed in a very strong direction so that you could, which way you're moving. Quick changes can come in with this, a quick change of direction or a quick change of plan or a quick change of ideas, or just something that is a stimulating event or something occurs and that now pushes you in a different direction to where you were before. It's that kind of energy, and suddenly you're on the right path. Suddenly you have the energy and the drive to do what you need to, because now you're in the right place or you're following the right path. So it could be a very quick change of direction, or just quick changes in general. But it's basically a fresh start after clearing the landscape as well. Perhaps you needed to clear a whole lot of things in order to move forward, but it's that fresh start. You've got to act assertively in some way. It could also be that you need to act assertively with another person to get clear on what needs to be done. There could be ego in there. You could be facing a challenge of some kind in this house. But it's about facing that challenge head on. And gaining the drive and the energy in order to deal with it. Then moving on to your 10th house, as I said, we have Neptune, which was related to your 6th house. We have Neptune coming in here for your 10th house, which is your house of career. It's your house of your fame, your reputation, and your public status as well. It's also the house of authority figures, whether this is somebody in your family or whether it's somebody in your workplace or just somebody that you admire. So it's some kind of authority figure may be activated for you. But it really is, it's also the house of other types of authority figures, whether that's the law or could even be military or something like that may come in. But with the 10th house, with Neptune coming in here, this is a much softer energy that's coming in. And I feel what this is all about is, yet again, having faith and belief in what it is you're trying to do or where it is you're headed. Or you may just have to have blind faith and belief. But it is also about accessing imagination, inspiration. A bit of mysticism could even come in there, but it's sensitivity as well, great sensitivity at this time, and that can be channeled into the arts in all ways. So this is music, poetry, actual physical art, or artistic endeavors. All forms of the arts come in here. Even filmmaking and film industry is highly indicated with this as well. So you could be getting involved in that in some way, or maybe you want to get involved in that in some way. So it's also about accessing your dreams and your harnessing your artistic ability. So perhaps you need to do that in conjunction with your sixth house, which is your work projects and so on. Perhaps you need to activate something in this now. Perhaps you haven't been doing that before, or you want to change direction. This is one you want to go in now. But with this card, there is the other side of it as well. There could be a bit of escapism going on here, where you just feel that you just need to opt out of things for a while, and that can be indicated sometimes. It's not always a good idea. You could also be sort of deceiving yourself a bit, or suffering from some sort of illusion where you think things are the way they are, and actually it's not like that. So just be aware of that coming in. You may need to again assert your boundaries in some way. You could have a few energy vampires around you, or you could have complicated people who are dragging you down. There could be a bit of confusion about your career possibly at this time. You're just not sure what's going on. You're not seeing clearly. There are unknown facts. Things are just not clear. This card can also be about copying others as well. So this is perhaps not having a fully formed identity, and you feel the need to do that, or you're seeing that in your environment around you. But it really is, some sacrifices may come in for you with this house, something to do with what it is that you want to do. But it can just sometimes be about not seeing very clearly at this time, or it could be the tapping into the finer qualities of Neptune, which is all those lovely imaginative sensitivity vibes and inspiration coming from this could very well be coming in for you in your 10th house now. Then in the 11th house, we have Gemini, I think. So yet another communication card coming in. The 11th house is your house of your friendships. It's also the house of your groups that you may be a member of, all sorts of groups. So this can be social groups, it can be societies or associations that you're a member of, it could be a group of companies, it could be any kind of situation where you are a member with others. It's also the house of your own personal wishes and dreams and ideals and your hobbies and your interests. Okay, so there is an element that comes in with this house as well, which is to do with global consciousness, social reform, and global causes and so on. So with this card coming in, Gemini, I think all forms of communication is highly indicated with this. So your words and your writing are going to be very, very important. You're going to need to be versatile in some way. So this is having quick wit and humor. Keep that about you at this time. There could be an exchange of ideas going on. You could be multitasking with this. Technology and electronics could be highly indicated for you as well. So some sort of upgrade, or you're busy with that, or you're learning something new, or you're seeing it. Perhaps you're joining your company is joining a group of other companies, and their technology is more advanced than yours. That can come in as well. But just be aware that with the whole communication side of things, be aware that you may be being talked about at this time. That could come in. You must be just aware of gossip as well, or glibness, or argumentative ways. So whether this is in conjunction with you in a friendship or friendships, or with you in a group of some sort, but whatever goes on, pay attention with this card. You could also be talking too much, or just chatting about things too much, and not actually coming across as sincere at this time. Some people with this very strong in their chart can come across as a bit fickle or distracted. All right, so make sure that you're paying attention, and that you're with it, and that you are there, mentally, with whatever's going on at this time, and keep your wits about you and your humor as well. Then in the 12th house, we have Aries, I am. Another fire card. So with this coming in, I feel that the 12th house is often the precursor to the first house. So this is what goes on underneath the surface in yourself. So it's everything to do with yourself, your inner thoughts, your beliefs, your motivations, your drives, your unconscious self. It's also the house of your spiritual life, and mysticism and meditation, all of those aspects, and also reflection, personal reflection. It's the house of escapism of all kinds, and can bring in addictions of all kinds as well. It's the house of service, so this is service to others, and it's also the house of karmic lessons. You could also be experiencing it's your experiences in various types of institutions. So whether this is a university or a library or a government institution or a hospital, it's your experiences there. So now with this card coming in, I feel that this is a kind of decisive action on your behalf. So this is something that you've perhaps wanting to implement, or something you're going to do, and you've decided you're going to do it now. So it's decisive action. It must be measured action. This can't be rash, rushing around, sort of quick temper, rashness and rush. So avoid the sort of the rushing and the rashness and the arrogance of this card. It can sometimes come in. The best way to handle this energy is through measured action. So this is, as I said, decisive action, weighing up what needs to be done and then following through on that. But it may be a quick action that you need to take, or a quick decision that you need to take. You could be needing to take leadership in some way, or you suddenly find the zest and the vision to do what you need to do. So it could also be that you're being a team player in some way, but you may need to be quite disciplined in your actions and how you're going about things. You may be required to compete in some way, or defend yourself, or create something. You may also be required to compromise in some ways, because you need to work with others. You need to be a team player as well. So I feel that there's a decision that's been made and you're going to follow through on it, or you're going to be challenged to do something. And it could be that you need to sort of leap into the leadership role, or to gather the energy to actually follow through on something now. But it's disciplined, measured action which will bring you the best results here. Okay, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe. And have a great month, and I will see you next time. Take care.